dead to you all because my allergies are really nuts right now. Also, I stayed up really late watching Precious last night. Yeah, how fucked up is that movie? It's just unbelievable. And the most fucked up part of it to me is that it's not like based on it's based on a novel, not like a true story, like a biography or something. So someone was sitting in a room writing a story about an obese, illiterate 16-year-old who gets pregnant twice by her father and then gets AIDS from him as well. Someone was like, "It's fucking awesome, yeah." She gets pregnant again. Yeah, let's do this. And then fucking AIDS. Okay. So after I spent like 2 hours watching the movie and then 2 hours rocking back and forth in my bathroom, I went to sleep. I was thinking today about my childhood. My boyfriend, we made dinner the other night, and I was like, "Hey, do you ever watch The Frugal Gourmet, like on PBS? I used to watch that shit with my dad all the time." He's like, "Yeah, you know that guy's a sex offender, right?" I was like, "No, he isn't." I was like, "He was like my uncle Frugal Gourmet. I'd watch him in his little like apron and his little beard and his glasses, his like harmless old man glasses." But I looked it up on Wikipedia, and he indeed had a suit against him from like 7 guys who said that they touched him when he was a teenager. And I was like, next, someone's gonna tell me that Bob Vila like drives kittens for fun. Like, can one thing from my childhood just be intact? So yeah. Also, I was thinking about how comic books lie to boys, in particular, in terms of like the women and how they're built. I was thinking about Catwoman. And how Catwoman in all the movies and the comic books is like super, super hot. But in real life, Catwoman is like that woman on Hoarders who has 30 dead cats in her garage. That's who Catwoman is. And then I was thinking about my own cat and how like, as a female, some women are like, they're cat women. And I have a cat, so I guess I'm a cat woman. But my cat was like in my room and it was like scratching to get out of my room. And I was like, I can't even make it as a cat woman. What kind of woman am I? I think my cat would fuck me. Yes, I talked to my cat fucking me. And then I was thinking today, I took my bikini off, we went to the beach, but I was like, my little heart necklace and my thing, I look like my 12-year-old sister went to the beach. I was like, sometimes I look like a pedophile's wet dream, but like a pedophile who doesn't want the risk, just wants like a clean-shaven vagina and lots of little skirts and pigtails. Usually I get ID'd all the time, but the only time I don't get ID'd is when I'm wearing pigtails and I'm with my boyfriend, because I feel like they're like, that guy, she has to be, right, like I don't even want to find out. She's underage. So that was fun. I was at the beach today, Hollywood Beach. What's up with you guys, ladies? My friends were talking about how they thought it was kind of rude for bachelorette parties to go to gay bars. And I do too, but for a different reason. I think it's rude because bachelorette parties in general are rude. I think that they're lame. I was like, I'm going to take all the money I would spend on my bachelorette party and put it towards my fucking honeymoon, because that's the whole reason I'm getting married. Like, the whole reason you go out drinking with your girlfriends is to find people to have sex with. And I'm assuming if I'm getting married, I've either accomplished that or I'll be too rich to care. So who cares? So why go out? It was my girlfriends. I don't need those bitches anymore. But I still will go out to work on my work on fitness. I was doing yoga the other night, and my instructor had her iPod hooked in there. She had some new playlist. She was like super excited about it. And that song by Ricky Iglesias came on, but it wasn't like the edited version. So in the middle, we're all like doing Dr. Dog, and in the middle, we were like, just not have a fuck in you. We were like looking at each other, and she got so embarrassed. It was like right in her face. It was like, oh, I guess it's not the edited version. I was like, relax, lady. That's why we're all here. So we get fucked tonight. That's why we're all here. Also, someone explains to me how Enrique Iglesias went from I would be your hero, baby, to tonight I'm fucking you. It's like just whole generations of chivalry went in reverse. I mean, right? So I was in Seattle recently, And Seattle has a lot of things, lots of straight men wearing skirts and good seafood. But they also have a huge problem with jobless immigrants. And by jobless immigrants, I mean Canadian geese. And these guys are just the worst. They're assholes. Like, they come to our country, they've taken over all the best shady spots in the park, and they poop everywhere, and they eat the bread that these homeless people put out just meticulously for good, wholesome American pigeons. And they eat all that shit. And they bite people. I've known people who've gotten bitten just walking through the park too. Also, I was driving the other day in the suburbs, and traffic was stopped for like 15 minutes as a line of geese walked in a line, a straight line across the street, and on both sides traffic was stopped. Now, they have wings, and they could fly clear over the street and those cars, but they won't because they're dicks. So, that's the problem. And countless numbers of airplanes that run into these geese while they're flying and like crash. And there was one flight I was reading about like in '95 or something. 24 people died. I was like, the Mexican man in the corner might be taking away a little bit of business from Jewel, but he's not biting people, he's not shitting in parks, and he's not bringing down airplanes. So I think we need to spend a little bit less time on the human immigration problem, more time on the Canadian geese immigration problem. Close those borders, right? Do this. Oh, Lord. What else? So, speaking of working out, it's hard to get motivated to go work out. Like, I need an extra reason to do it. So I've come up with reasons in my head to go do things. Like, for instance, I'll go to, classes that are like working on your core, like P90X class. So that, like, when I'm on the train, I'm holding on this thing, and, dudes are bumping into you. You can, hang on, and your core's all working. And I do squats so that I can practice balancing over public restrooms. And I go to yoga class so I can work on my backup career as a porn star. Because it helps me be flexible. I'll share some dreams with you guys tonight. I have a dream to date a midget. And not for like a weird story, but so that I'm not the only person at a backyard barbecue that gets thrown in the pool. And also I wouldn't have to sit on anyone's lap in the car. Because I'm like always the smallest person and just get shoved in the fucking glove compartment. Speaking of stuff, I think the word cunt is just the most ultimately fascinating word to me. And here's why. Because people always have a border on what they say and what they won't say. And their border is usually at or around the word cunt. My mom the other day, I was talking to her, and I called this girl a cunt because she was a cunt. And my mom was like, Luce, you don't say that fucking word in this goddamn house. I was like, Mom. So there's my mom's border right there at the word cunt. I saw this sign the other day for the Horseshoe Casino. And it said, stay up late, retire early. And I was like, that's so wrong. Like, it's more like, stay up late, your wife wonders where you are, and then later divorces you after she finds out that they're like $60,000 in debt. Super accurate. So my roommate is a teacher, and he had all these books that he brought home from these workshops he was doing about gender. And one was like, why gender matters. And on the back, it was like super serious, like forget everything you know about gender differences. And at one point it was like in the blurb on the back, it was talking about like the wide array of issues that it covers. And it said including drug use and sex and risk aversion. And I was like, I think that's not really that wide array of issues. I think that's basically, you can categorize all of that under shit you don't want kids to do. And there was another book that was talking about women and the new crisis in women. And there's like 4 things that are affecting women, like obsessions and the cyber sex and all this shit. And at one point the blurb on the back was talking about how women seem really strong and confident on the outside, but fragile on the inside. And of course this book's written by a dude. I was like, we should have just renamed it Why Women Need to Fix Themselves Before They Are Old Enough to Marry a Man Who Doesn't Want to Deal with Their Fragile Inside. I'll leave you guys with that. Yeah!